Oh, the music stopped. What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday to you. Happy The Vision is Possible Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with all of you. Facebook, hello, everyone. Instagram, I love you. Everybody know I'm waving at you. The camera, as I tell people, is way back here. So I don't want to keep going back and waving. So know that I'm waving and I'm doing my heart to you. And YouTube, welcome, my darlings. I'm so glad to see all of you all here. This is awesome. Well, let me see. I've had a pretty good week. It's been an interesting week. Thanksgiving stuff. I know you ate a lot of food on Thanksgiving. Oh man, I just chowed down and had a great time. I did not make a turkey this year. Hey there, David Peterson. No, first time I've never made a turkey for Thanksgiving. I made salmon, I made vegetable chili, I made turkey chili, and then I made a bunch of other sides. And it was so much fun, and there were only five of us. No. Two, four, six of us. Only six of us. That was the smallest, most intimate, just a lovely Thanksgiving we had. So I hope all of you had a wonderful time with family, friends, people you didn't know, new friends you might have made at whatever dinner you were at. And if you were home alone, baby, like I always say, you're with your best friend, sweetheart. And if you ain't your best friend, you better work it out. Talk to yourself, tell yourself what you need, and give it to you all the time. So glad to have you here. Welcome to The Vision is Possible. There's been a lot of stuff going on politically right now, you guys. Without speaking specifically to any one party, let me just say, we can't be in this world together and make it work if we don't all work together. There is not one race of people who can survive on this rock we call Earth without other races of people who do not look like them. So if you can be as upset as I can be at some of the racist, unkind rhetoric I hear, let me tell you what I do. Share it, and I hope maybe you might. I invite you to do the same. Be aware of what's happening, and don't let anything throw you off your positive core. Stay in that space. When you go out, smile at people who don't look like you. Make their day. I know it always makes mine when I smile at someone. I don't like it when they don't smile back at me, but the truth is it doesn't matter. Because for them, it ain't about me, and it's okay. Because the ones who do, they make up for the others. But smile at them. Speak to some of your coworkers and your family just about life. And remember, every change we want to see begins with us. So if you get feisty after you hear some of the rhetoric that's going around, remember, if you want to see change, let it begin with me, with you, with each one of us. All right, we are here on the show now, and I've got a fabulous guest. I love this woman. She is magnificent. She is wonderful. She is interesting. Excuse me, I'm spitting all over myself. She is a woman on a mission, and I could give you the bio. I could give you the resume. But I have a special way of introducing our guests. Wendy Hammers. Here we go. Wendy.
Diane.
Oh,
Wow.
look at your life.
It's crazy pants. That was a beautiful, sweet walk down memory lane. Thank you for that.
Oh,
Very sweet.
absolutely. Absolutely. We are so happy to have you on as one of our special guests on The Vision is Possible because, girl, you have been visioning, you have been making stuff possible. And before we get into all the stuff, where are
Mhm.
you from, Wendy? How'd
Well,
you
I'm a Jersey
get into
girl, East Coast, New
East
York
Coast?
and New Jersey originally.
Okay.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey, outside of Philadelphia. No cherries, no hills, just a lot of guys with blow dried chest hairs and a Vinny. That's where I grew up. Jews and Italians, and then New York. I lived in New York for many years and went to school there, and I schooled myself as an actor there and did a lot of theater and stand up comedy back there in the day. But I've been in California now for over 30 years. Can't you tell by my long blonde hair that I'm a California girl? Oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm
Awesome.
from.
Awesome. So you started all that. I mean, was there entertainment in your family? Were your parents entertainers? Were you musicians?
They were entertaining, but not on purpose. They were just silly. No other performing artists in my family. I had a painter. One person was a painter, but no, my mother was an educator. My mother taught special ed, and my dad was a businessman, salesman. No, I don't know where it came from, but I always felt like being on stage, dancing, getting up on stage. It always felt like a language that was very natural to me from the
Mhm,
very beginning. A little girl, always
mm.
drawn to it. Yeah.
Was there
And my
any
parents
no,
my mother was a big theater goer and a big supporter of theater, so I was always exposed to it. From the time I was
okay.
little, I always saw theater, and that probably had some very positive influence. I'm sure it did.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm sure. I remember when I was in school, well, my parents took us to a lot of films. We saw a lot of films we weren't supposed to, but then we would go out to dinner and then we'd sit and we'd discuss and talk, and
Mhm.
it was so wonderful. And I remember oh God, when you're in school and you have field trips.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, and the field trips would take us to go see these musicals and plays, and it was so wonderful, and so
You remind me when I was in Girl Scouts in, elementary school and middle school, going to see the original production of A Chorus Line on Broadway. And I just did not wanna get back on that bus and go back to New Jersey. I thought, "I have arrived, these are my people, I need to stay in New York for the rest of my life." Like, I was so, "This is where I belong." And just from one singular sensation, I was in. Yeah.
oh my god, because you are one singular sensation, baby, you are. So
So,
you just kept on going. Was there any time when you doubted?
um, I mean, as an adult, sure, because the business is complicated, but I think as a child I just always loved being an excuse for people to be in community. And I think that's what's
Mhm.
happened in my work. What's evolved is I still get to do that, whether I'm doing as an actor or as a producer, as a coach. There's lots of ways to do that. But no, I don't think I ever questioned it. It always seemed like a natural thing for me to want to entertain people. Yeah.
So how do you, because you've been very successful, and as I say, I want to get into more of that, but how do you combat the ageism? How do you combat when people say, "Oh, thank you," and you want that job and you don't get that job? What keeps you going forward?
Um, that's a great question. I would say that I stopped caring about playing by the rules a while ago. I just decided I have art and a voice and I have something to communicate, and I'm gonna figure out ways to do that. And I'm not gonna wait. Years ago, I knew a woman, I wish I could remember her last name. I think it's Diane Christensen. She was a rockette. And I remember, and then had been an actor and a rockette and a dancer. And then she started teaching creatives and working with children. And I said, "Why did you stop acting?" She said, "Because I didn't want somebody else to tell me when I got to play in the sandbox." I never forget this. And she said, "So I just made my own sandbox." And that's what I feel like I've done. I
Uh,
started doing my own work. So I don't have to get the rejection because I create opportunities for myself and other artists to do their work, whether it's live performance on stage, whether it's spoken word, whether it's as a writer. I just keep creating places to do the work. So if the industry calls and says, "Do you want to do this?" I can say yes, but my self-worth and my ability to work is not contingent on somebody else. That's what's helped me.
my self-worth not contingent on somebody else, and that just and only because I ask this because we not only have people in the entertainment business, who watch the show, but
Mhm.
people who are out there in the regular world doing their 9 to 5 or whatever hours they have. And don't you think that applies to whatever your profession is or your job is?
Yes, yes, I always say I know a lot of people believe in the afterlife and reincarnation. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure I believe in this life. I know this is the one life I know I have for sure. And so I don't want to squander it and waste it thinking about all the things I wish I was doing. And I just find ways to make sure that I can do them too much to the best of my ability. I mean, obviously, I can't, suddenly be starring in a television show that unless I create it, unless I go and create the content. So it always comes back to what's my part in it and what can I do? You know, I think that's really important. And there's certain things that we're powerless over in the business, and there's certain things that we are in control of. And so we have to know what those are and then just make sure we take the reins on those things.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Make your own
I remember
sandbox,
when
empowered.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I had a conversation many years ago with the actor Hank Azaria, and he
Mhm.
said to me, um, you what the stuff you can control, make sure you really do that because there's so many things that are out of your hands. So what can you control? Your ability to be well prepared and well rehearsed, to
Mm.
know your material, to take care of your body and your mind and all the things you can do them to the fullest extent because then the other stuff will bounce off of you a little easier. Because sometimes they just want a redhead and you have blonde hair and it's just nothing you can do about that. Or whatever, or sometimes the producers are hiring, their cousins, gardener. And so, okay, I can't do
Mhm.
anything about that. But the things I can do stuff about, I make sure I do, you know?
Mm,
And
mm.
yeah. And it's easier to toot your own horn if you're in company, a good company of others. So when I started producing live events and live performances, I was not just saying, come see my work. I was saying, there's a whole company of incredible people you should meet and know and come see their work. And it's easier to promote. And then we support each other that way.
What kind of things do
Yeah.
you, produce, honey, when you say live events? What do they look like? What are they?
So I have a series that I've been doing for 20, we're in our 24th season. It's called Tasty Words, and they're stories good enough to eat. And they are original, hilarious, and horrifying real life stories told by the people who lived and wrote them. And we have different themed evenings. So, for example, we do a show called I'm Still Here Stories from the Road to Hell and Back from People Who've Lived to Tell the Tale. We do a Mother's Day show. We do a I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt show. We do a sports show, like every possible topic we've done. And I host them and I perform in them. And then I invite friends, other writers and actors and comedians to do 7, 10 minutes of something fabulous. And that's what we do.
Oh,
So
oh, oh, you gotta get me on one of those, baby. I wanna do one of those.
in 5 seconds, I would have you on the show, Iona. I would love that so much.
Oh, man, that's
Yeah.
great. That sounds wonderful. How long have you been
Yeah.
doing this
Next year,
now? So
24 years. Isn't that
24 years.
crazy? I can't believe it.
Woo! That's an adult birth.
All exactly. I'm just trying to think what we're doing this coming year. We're doing sassy Southern stories. So those are all Southern women. And we do
Mm,
that at the Wilshire Ebell here in Los Angeles and Hollywood.
great
And
spot.
we do it right after Kentucky Derby. So everyone comes in their Derby hats and we have a mint julep bar and we have a live band. It's so much fun. So that's one. And then we're going to do a sing along show this year, just a big sing along show, just because I feel like we're at a time, as you started to allude to in your opening, we're in a very challenging time, a time unlike anything we've ever experienced in our life, a time unlike anything we ever wanted to think we would experience.
Mm,
So that said, I feel like part of my mission statement here is how do I add joy and levity to the world? To the
mhm.
best of my ability, what can I bring? And so the sing along is just sheer fun. We blow bubbles and we wear red noses, clown noses, and all this kind of stuff, and we're doing that one next year as well. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that sounds great. That sounds great. I feel the same way about the vision is possible. With everything that's going on out in the world, how can I inspire? How can I help to elevate other people's consciousness? How can I just give them a smile, a joy, a laugh, maybe a little tear that just opens up their heartstrings to something? And
I love that. I love when you said that in the opening. Were talking about that. I thought that was so spot on. And a lot of people are immune to that joy. They're just so far from it. I will tell you, um, I remember once walking down the street. I can't remember if it was New York or Los Angeles, but I smiled at somebody and they said, "Oh, do I know you?" I said, "No." They go, "Oh, but you smiled at me." I'm like, "'Cause you're another human being," and I was making a connection. It was so foreign to them that a stranger would smile at them. They didn't quite know what to do with it. I kind of threw them. They went, "Oh, okay. I'll smile now too." It's very strange. So we can we have to remind each other how to be human, right? We have these
Yes.
moments. We need to do
Yes.
that.
Yeah, we have to, because what it all begins with me. I remember, I can't remember that song. Thank you, Francis. I love you so much. All of you. I was walking with my husband today through Santa Monica. We dropped off his car. We went for a walk before we went to breakfast. And we're out
Nice.
and we're like, hello, 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 saying hello. And there were a few people who weren't speaking to us. And Munyango says, listen, you can't say hello to everybody. And I'm like, yes, I can. And he starts telling me how I need to, who I should say hello to. I'm like, and how do I know that? So look, I'm saying hello,
Mm.
who I want to say hello to. If you don't agree, I'm perfectly fine with that. Some woman passed by, went, hello. And she smiled right back. And you know,
Fabulous.
it's we get to break people out of their stuff. When I'm in elevators, I'm the one in the elevator when I say hello to people, or I tell everyone have a nice day, because when
Love
you're
it.
in elevators, everybody's looking.
I know, isn't it funny? Why we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we miss that moment to have a human experience?
Yeah.
We just and being in an elevator is very Buddhist, really. It's staying in the moment. But most people in an elevator are where do they just come from and where are they going to, as opposed to I'm
Mhm.
right here, right now. You
Uh-huh.
know?
Very true. And we're hiding. It's like, how can we're all
Mm,
in this one cubicle. We cannot hide from each other.
right. Or
Speaking
we
of,
can try to, but that's no fun.
that's no, that absolutely. You never know who you might meet in the elevator. You might meet a husband or a wife, or a relationship in an elevator. You just never know.
It's true.
Honey. So you're an actress. You're a comedian. You're hilarious. You are a
Thank you.
talented, vibrant, wonderful woman. But I
Well,
heard
we are
you said
mirrors. We are mirrors. So you know that
mirrors,
who you are too. We
mirrors,
learn from
baby.
each
Thank you. And I know you broke up with someone,
other.
and you're going to tell us how you got together and what happened with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what I was talking about, dear listeners, is that in 2015, let me go back a little bit.
Mm.
I am a person who, even though I have this God-given body that is a vessel and a temple, I have, like many other American women, struggled with my body and my body image much of my life. And I was at a place in my life where I thought I need to lose some weight, and so I went to Weight Watchers, and I lost the weight after 3 months. And I went to the meeting, and I found I lost weight. Okay, so then I did what any good emotional eater does. I celebrated with fudge brownies. That's what you do. So I go back the next week and I've not gained any weight. I've lost like 3 pounds. So I say to the man with the plastic name tag behind the counter, um, there's something wrong with your scale. Obviously it's broken. And he says, no, there's nothing wrong with the scale. Well, it turns out my body was broken, but I didn't know that yet. As it turned out, I was diagnosed in 2015 with pancreatic cancer. And often when you tell people you have pancreatic cancer, they look like they're going to die. Like literally people say the craziest things because we're uncomfortable because we don't have a easy way to talk about this in our culture. So people literally have said to me, "Oh my goodness, pancreatic. Isn't that the one that's supposed to kill you?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm still here. I need to live longer. I need to annoy my husband for another 20 years. So I'm still here." But the fact is that the numbers are getting better, but they're still not great. 87% of people who have pancreatic cancer do not live to see 5 years. And I was diagnosed in 2015, and I'm still here on the Iona show talking about it. So, yeah, so 17 and
Woo!
a half years of what we call unremarkable. That's what the doctor tells you when there's literally nothing to remark on the scan. They say
Mhm.
you are unremarkable. And I say, well, that is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. I've never been so happy to be unremarkable. So, you remember the unsinkable Molly Brown? Remember
Oh,
that Broadway show? I had a
yes.
manager who's I had a manager years ago, Rick Siegel. He said, "You should call your show the Unremarkable Wendy Hammers," 'cause I'm remarkable. I'm
Ah,
grateful. Yeah. So I'm
that's
grateful to be alive. That is for sure. And I was an optimist. I was grateful before I got sick, but there is nothing like a life-threatening illness to make you realize that all we ever have is today, right here, right now, this moment. That's it. That's what we
mm,
got. So if you love somebody, don't tell them tomorrow, tell them today. And if you need to step up for yourself or say something or conversely, if you need to take a nap because you're exhausted, do that. Do today because that's all we got. So do the best day you can do. And,
Mm.
I got sick, I got better, I did everything Western and everything Eastern that made sense. I did chemo, my treatment was at UCLA. I was treated at the Ronald Reagan Center. I was afraid they weren't gonna let me in because I'm a Democrat, but they said, "No, as long as you have a copay, you're good. We'll let you right in the front door." They took out my pancreas, half my pancreas, they took out my gallbladder, they sewed me back up, they dry cleaned it, I don't know what they did. Put me back together, and I am better than ever. How do you like that? Pretty cool, huh?
That is very cool. Where did you get your optimism from, your positive nature in order to fight something like that? Because like you say, someone's told they've got pancreatic cancer, the first thing they think of is this is it for me.
Right. So I always say to people, it's not that I'm so courageous or bright or brave. I just literally knew myself well enough to know I did not have the physical, spiritual, emotional, or psychological bandwidth to consider living and dying. So I just picked living and hoped I was right. That's what I did. And
Mm.
I could have been wrong, but that didn't matter because I believe our thoughts control so much, and my body needed to be strengthened, and that my immune system was strengthened by my positive attitude. So it all went hand in hand. I think that, I did all the Western stuff. I did chemo, I did surgery, I did a lot of Eastern stuff, but I really do think the mindset, because
Mm.
I know a lot of other people who unfortunately, very tragically, did the exact same protocol I did, the same drugs and the same surgery, and they're no longer here above ground. So what is the missing piece? What is the X factor? And to me, it's mindset, it's attitude, and it's not a guarantee of anything, but not having it is a guarantee it won't go well. If you have a bad attitude and you don't want to be here, you're not going to be here. That's what I believe.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
so, hi, Jeannie. I don't know you, but that's very sweet what you just said.
Love her positive attitude. And also, Mooncrab said 2015. And I think that is something really out of, they can't even believe it. Okay, if you don't mind, please share. Here we go. Frances Sheaver. She asks, if you don't mind, please share your initial signs and symptoms for others to be aware and seek medical attention if need be. Retired Army nurse. Oh, Frances, thank you, honey.
Francis, what a great thank you so much for the opportunity to share this because I always want to tell people what I experienced. First of all, our bodies are really smart. They know a lot of things. We just don't always listen to them, right? And so our mutual friend Deborah Kagan used to talk about: Are you living your life from the neck up or the neck down? And if you're not paying attention to your body, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. So my initial thing was two things. One was I couldn't stop losing weight. And for someone who'd been overweight and compulsive overeater my whole life, I was like, this is fantastic. And then I went, this is not fantastic. Something is wrong because I had severe, nonstop pain in the left side of my body. I'm going to say, if you went to the belly button and then went over to the left, that's where the pain was. And we didn't know what it was at first. So, but it would not stop. And I was writhing on the floor in my office and it was in so much pain. And I said to my husband, like I went all California girl, and him was like, oh my God, I think I had bad sushi. He's like, yeah, I don't think that you would be writhing on the floor from a tuna roll. He said, would you please go to the doctor? And then I did this crazy thing that a lot of women who are married do not do. I listened to my husband. I
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
listened to him and went to the doctor and got an early diagnosis. And the other thing I had was I had something disgusting but very real if you have GI issues called dumping syndrome, which is everything I ate went out the other end. I couldn't keep anything in my body because my body was compromised. All disease is the body trying to get your attention and get you back into balance and
Mhm.
stasis. That's what I
Mhm.
believe.
Come on.
So, in a way, although I wouldn't wish pancreatic cancer on anybody, I know that my life is better on the other side of it, and I know that it is more authentically mine. I actually have a life that I love and that I'm proud of and that I've carved out because I made choices because I got really lucky that I'm still here. So since I am, I might as well make the best of it and really celebrate my life while I have one.
Mm.
You know?
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. So you find out it was the
Yeah.
pain on the side and the back on the left that took
It
you.
was on the left-hand side of my body. It wasn't in my back. It's very, the first of all, part of the problem with pancreatic is there are not that many symptoms that present. Some people get jaundice, they get sort of yellow. I didn't have that. And a lot of people get back pain. This is why it's important for everybody to listen to and pay attention to their bodies now,
Mhm.
because I've heard many men end up in stage 4 pancreatic because they have back pain and they just go, well, I don't take care of myself. I'm a little overweight. I don't exercise. So it's probably just getting older. Well, I felt great until the moment I didn't feel great. So as soon
Mm.
as something was weird in my body, I was very aware of it because I never felt anything bad before that. And so I paid attention to it. Yeah, that was what it was, and I was tired, I had some headaches, um, like bad headaches, like sort of migraines type headaches, I'd never had those before, and I
Mm.
went and got it all checked out, and then as soon as I found out, I was like, "Okay, let's get into the solution." I had fallen in love with the right person for the first time in my life, I was in the right relationship. My son, young adult son was just starting college, and I just thought, "I really need to be here, and I wanna be here." So I just assumed I would be, and I thought, "What am I gonna do to get better?" And I tried everything I could possibly think of, including, this is so LA, a cancer coach. Yes, that's a thing. I worked with this woman named Marissa Harris out of the East Coast, and she had gone to Sloan Kettering and had 8 doctors tell her, "I'm very sorry, but there's nothing we can do for you." She was diagnosed with stage 4 inoperable pancreatic cancer. "There's nothing we can do for you. You should get your affairs in order," whatever they say. And she said to them, "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I can't die because someday I'm going to dance at my daughter's wedding." And that was 25 years ago. So I hired her
Mhm.
to coach me through this process. And a couple of things I learned from her that I really want to share with your listeners. One is, just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean you are that diagnosis. You have cancer, but you are not cancer. And it is a small part of who you are, no matter what you're going through. And the other thing is that you have to love your doctors and they have to love you because you're in it together. Otherwise, you got to get new doctors, right? You're in a team, you're working together as a team.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I will say that I had a friend who had cancer, and he was in a lot of pain at one point, and the doctor did not give him any more pain medication, saying, "Oh, he'll be
Hmm.
fine." That's something that happens a lot of times with black men and black women. They think that we can really stand pain more.
Wow.
And when I heard that, my whole feeling was dump, dump, dump him. That's not a lot.
Mhm.
I don't care what they say to you. I don't care how they smile. I don't care anything. If that's what they think, they're really not part of your team. Uh,
Correct.
and I think
Agreed.
that's important. Now, is that why my friend's not here anymore? I don't know, but I think that that's very important to have people who are part of your team. And something else you mentioned, even is the emotions, keeping your emotions in check. Did you tell friends that you had cancer? Did you let people know, or were you a silent person with that information?
No, I did share it with my community. I'm not a big social media person, so I didn't, like, blast it all over social media initially anyhow. Um, but I did share it with friends, and I have to say, I felt like the cancer said, "This woman has so much love in her life, I can't compete with this," because there was love coming at me from every direction. I had I had Orthodox Jews, I had nuns praying for me, and I had the atheists praying for me. Everybody was praying for me. It was crazy. I would say that I did tell people, and we did have a Facebook group, that was a support group, and people asked me, "What do you need?" And I said, "What I need are 2 things. Anybody you know who has had this illness and has survived it, I'd like their phone number, and I'd like to talk with them. Anybody who's doing great, I'd like to hear. And any bad news you have, I need to hear it never, ever, ever, never, ever. It's not helpful. I don't wanna know about it. It's just not helpful." And then the other thing we did was so silly. I told people I wanted, how do we put it? I want a picture of hot men and cool cats. So people send me pictures of, sexy firemen and, kitty cats. And then one friend, my friend Kelly Carlin, is hysterical. She's a comedian. Well, she's not a comedian, but she comes from comedians. Her father was the great George Carlin. And she
Oh,
says to me, she goes, "I think I screwed this up." She sent me a picture of a cat that was sweating and a fireman who was wearing, like, a parker and had snow all over his face. I'm like, "That's all right. That's still good." So, but yeah, laughing, being silly, finding the absurd things to laugh at in life, finding a way to laugh at yourself when you're going through a life altering illness
whew.
is absurd. It's not natural. Like, no one expects that. I don't think most of us wake up and go, "When I grow up, I'm gonna have cancer." Like, no one, I hope no one thinks that way. I certainly didn't think that way. It wasn't in my family history. I had a healthy lifestyle. My husband said, "How come I have martinis and steaks and you have yoga and tofu? And how come you got cancer?" And the answer finally was, because there are things that I need to learn about life that I can't learn any other way. Because if I could, I would have already done that. And so the cancer showed up to sort of get my attention and be like a toddler pulling on my pant leg going, "Listen to me. I got to talk to you." So, and
I'm
ultimately, I want a master class in self-love. That's what I want to say. Cancer
mm,
is and was a master class
mm.
in self-love. Yeah,
A masterclass in self-love, and also taking your illness and realize that you made a friend with it, it sounds like.
I did. I decided I was going to learn as much as I could from it and go through that process. And then when I was done, I knew that it would go by. This is what I told myself. Learn what you can learn. And then when you've done that process and you've grown, then you won't have to have the cancer anymore. And that's kind of
Mhm,
what happened.
mhm.
Somebody's asking something here. Symptoms, other symptoms. Oh, that's the same person. Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, it was extreme pain that I couldn't ignore. Extreme pain. And take care of yourself now, because if you're not well, you'll notice it. But if you're feeling mediocre all the time, you wouldn't notice it. You just think, oh, this is just part of
Mm.
life.
Right,
We're not
right.
supposed to feel bad all the time. We're supposed to have energy. We're supposed to feel good. That's natural. But a lot of us have gotten so used to, I only can wake up if I have 3 cups of coffee in the morning. I don't sleep well, all those things. Yeah.
We don't need those things. I have here Patricia just shared earlier. Someone else just said that to me today, just about joy. What you say is what you manifest. Like if you say positive things, and that is the truth. And you've
So
got to
true.
keep people around you who think that way. I'll tell you something really
Yes.
crazy. Okay, so I was working this job that was like, oh my God, baby, we were doing 90 pages a week of comedy,
Wow.
2 shows a week. It was insane.
Wow.
And so I
Wow.
was going to work, and every day I was listening to Dateline. And Dateline is all about murders, right? And I kept coming up with reasons why I was listening, even though I was like, Iona, if you listen to this, this is not good juju for your life. You're not into this, but I couldn't stop. When we wrapped, I'm a Buddhist, as I tell people so much. I was chanting, and I for some reason my mind changed to something more positive.
Hmm.
I haven't listened to it since. It was like automatic. There was something in me that was feisty, angry. I think I had tension, and I didn't even know I had
Hmm.
it. I was in the hospital 3 days later. And,
Well,
and
yes, and your
this
body is desperately trying to get your attention and
exact
say, "What's wrong?
exactly.
Here." I
Exactly.
will say, in this world that we live in now, I know a lot of people are into doom scrolling and listening to the news 24/7. I think it's not healthy for my constitution. I don't think my body does really well with a lot of that, so I really limit my intake. And anybody that's going through cancer right now, my suggestion would be to watch none of it. None of it. No bad news. Your body doesn't need it. It doesn't have the warehouse for it. Your body's busy trying to get strong and recover, and that's its job. So
Mhm.
that's what I believe about that. Everybody's got their own way, and some people don't feel safe if they don't listen to the news. But I get it anyhow. You absorb it. There's so much all around us. I get it
Exactly.
anyhow. But
Exactly.
I made a rule with my husband. I'll just tell you this really quickly.
Please.
Last year for my birthday, I'm a December baby, and my birthday was last December. And I said to my husband, this year for my birthday, I would like a turntable. He said, great. So he brought me a turntable, and we started collecting albums. We go every weekend and just go find albums and have a great time. And I said, for every half hour, every hour of Lawrence O'Donnell, every half hour of Rachel Maddow, I need the equal amount of time of us dancing in the living room. That was what I call counter programming. And I would invite everybody to think about counter programming. Whatever you're doing in your life, is there some opposite thing you need to do to feed your soul and to make you fortify your soul and make you feel good, right? So that's it. We can watch Rachel Maddow, but I got to dance around the living room. Got to. So that's what I do. That's what we do.
I
Yeah,
fucking love that.
it's
You
good.
make me think
Oh,
about
you
because
said F bomb.
yeah, that's an F
I
bomb. I
didn't know
can
what
F bomb it.
you
So
said.
I'm married to a musician, and I know that that's part of the joy that comes into my life.
Absolutely.
You can't be mad with
Music, as
music.
you know, vibrating on a higher frequency. I mean, I have to tell you, first of all, I didn't like the word, what do we call it? The chemo center, right? I didn't like that term. So my friend Lisa and I turned it into the chemo lounge. That's what we called it. And I would wear like one week I didn't want to go to chemo. I wanted to go to Hawaii. So I put on like a Hawaiian luau dress, and then I brought music and I danced during my chemo. And I was dancing around to Happy by Pharrell with the nurses there. Like I just needed that for my own spirit.
That's
Where like
right.
I didn't like the smell of medicine, even the iodine, even the what do you call it? The stuff they do to, to sanitize before they give you a shot. It's
Mhm.
just rubbing alcohol. I didn't like the smell of it. So before they would give it to me, I said, just a minute. And I would smell lavender or mint. I just put some essential oils in my nose. And then my mind, I would take myself on a trip and go somewhere else. And then I wasn't scared, or I didn't have to be preoccupied. And I didn't think I was there. And then today I had this thought about that I was on this, we were like on the fifth floor is where the chemo lounge was in Santa Monica, UCLA. And I could look out the window, and way out at the very edge, I could see the water in Santa Monica. And I would sit there in the chair getting this medicine pumped into my body for 8 hours at a clip. And I would say, someday, like a year from now, you're going to be healthy enough to go in that water. And that came to pass. I just kept envisioning, where am I going? This is a big thing my cancer coach talked about. What does your life look like on the other side of the cancer? The first meeting we had, she said to me, now, usually when you meet with somebody who's going to help you with your health, the first conversation is, this is how we're going to manage it. You know, these things are bad, but we'll make it better. This is what she said to me. She said, 3 years from now, you and I are going to get together in New York City, and we're going to have lunch. And you're going to tell me how the last 3 years were the best 3 years of your life. That's how we started the conversation. And I spent so much time in my chemo and surgery period of my life writing and visualizing about what I wanted my life to look like, that I really didn't have time to be scared. People don't believe me, but I wasn't. I just kind of went, this is what we're doing. And I kind of went with it. So, I maybe my ignorance was bliss. I treated it like I was like a child. Like my husband was taking notes and watching all the stats, and I was just, doing puzzles and napping. That's what I could do. And dancing in my bed, kicking my legs up in the air. That's what I do.
Love it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it. I have a friend who's going through cancer right now, and I'm gonna send him a copy of this show. And
And
he
also please have he can I'm happy to talk to him. And I want to say that right now. I say this all the time. People don't believe me. If you reach out to me through wendyhammers.com and you want to talk and you've got something going on with your health, I'm so happy to talk to you. It would be my privilege and honor, actually. Love to help people.
I'm gonna show this a little early for everyone so they can see where they can reach out to you, Instagram, Facebook, and Wendy has 2 websites, wendyhammers.com, tastywords.com. Um, that invitation is so delicious. Wendy, thank you for giving that out to people.
My pleasure. It's a gift. It's a gift to me. I mean, if you go through something hard, if anything I went through that was difficult, if that can help somebody else, it actually makes the hard part of what I went through more worth it, right? Get to
Mhm.
do something with that and turn, lemons into lemonade. So I'm happy to do it. Yeah. And Iona, I mean, you and I could talk for 10, 100 hours, but I just think about our paths, how fortunate we are that we have crossed and that we've been able to work together and do creative projects together, specifically the vagina monologues, which
Yeah.
was extraordinary.
That was
So much
fantastic.
fun.
I directed, I think, for 2 years, with the
Yeah.
wonderful Deborah Kagan, your partner in crime at that time. We had some fabulous actors and actresses. Beautiful at the Broad Theater. That was a
Oh,
blast.
we had Wanda Sykes and we had Jane Fonda and we had, oh my goodness, Marissa Tomei and so many people.
Mhm.
Rosario Dawson. Yeah, and I don't even and I got the cast. I don't even know how I did it. I have no
Oh my
idea
god,
other
you got
than
incredible people.
I believed in what we were doing. And I think the passion carries you a long way in life. And I was just very clear. And I really feel like this is a valuable thing. It was a fundraiser. And I said, this is what we're doing. And as soon as Jane Fonda got on board, everybody else got on board. That was helpful.
Mhm. That was
So
wonderful. That was
yeah.
wonderful.
And you're amazing the way you corralled all of us and managed all of us. It's great.
Thank you. They did turned out to be great shows.
Yeah, we
They
pitched
were
it. And we even had a men's version. I think you directed that one too,
yeah,
which
that
people
was a
don't really know about. That
yeah, that
Eve
was a
wrote.
book that she did later on. It was as a compilation of stories, and that was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, I think you also directed, Doris Roberts, the late great Doris Roberts. I
Oh,
think
I
she was in the
did.
production. Yes, she was. So she was the mom on Everybody Loves Raymond. She was a
Mhm.
hoot. She was great. Yeah.
She really
Yeah,
was.
no, I mean, put a group of women together that are passionate about something to help women, and, anything's possible. Sky's the limit for
Anything's
sure.
possible with us. I just want to bring in Bruce. Bruce, so you are a two-time cancer survivor. Woohoo,
Yay,
Bruce!
Bruce! Woo, Bruce! I'm gonna do like Springsteen. Bruce!
Nah, that's right. That's
Amazing.
right. Oh, and
Wonderful.
Francis
Love
Cheever
it.
says, you ladies are so fabulous. I feel like I'm in the room with you. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited with you. You are just amazing. There was something that came to my mind and I can't even What? Okay, so okay, wait a minute. Let's do this. Let me just tell everybody where you are, what you're doing, because I know you've also got a play to make, and I want to honor that. So I want to
Yeah,
give
that's
you
fine.
look at
Before the cancer, so I'm gonna say about 12, 13 years ago, I suddenly went, "Oh, I get it. This is my hair really wants to be this color." And I don't think this is for everybody. Like, I look at Cyndi Lauper, I'm pretty sure pink is her natural color, and that works for her. But for me, I was doing a play, traveling the country, doing a play called Ripe about being your authentic self and owning who you are as a woman, and I was sitting in the chair, spending a lot of time and money, having chemicals poured on my head while I read a script and memorized lines about being my authentic self. And I was like, "Wait a minute, something's wrong here." And so that's when it just a light bulb went off, and I went, "Okay, I
ding,
don't
ding,
want to
ding,
color
ding,
my hair
ding.
anymore."
Oh, I
Yeah,
love it. And you know what I love? Silver, saying it's silver. I've got a couple of gray
it's
hair
silver.
girlfriends. I'm gonna come and go, hey, 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 let's change that.
Silver,
Silver,
graphite, platinum,
baby.
gray.
Silver,
Yeah,
graphite, platinum. I love it all.
yeah,
Wendy,
good.
you are, I was gonna say amazing, but that's so like generic. You are so inspiring. You are such a light and a freshness and an excitement. Um,
Thank you.
you in your life, and you're so open, and you've always been like this, but yeah, that cancer adds something to you because it taught you some things, didn't it?
Every oh, so many things, and every pebble in our shoe, like every challenging thing, whether it's divorce. I mean, we've all been up through a lot. We've all been through things, but whatever it is, I feel like I'm more me on the other side of it. That's the best way I can say it. And so I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for where I've arrived, and I couldn't have gotten here without walking that path. So I accept the path.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
baby,
life.
I'm very glad to have you here. This has been
Thank you.
fantastic. I want you to come back. It'd be just
Anytime, my
wonderful. Let us
pleasure.
know what you're doing. Before we go, I always ask, you've given us such pearls of wisdom, but it's the end of the year, baby. We're about to go into
Mm.
2026. Are there any thoughts that you have that we haven't talked about that you might want to share?
Everything is one day at a time and one moment at a time. So if something seems wonderful and joyful, celebrate it. And if seems awful and overwhelming, it's going to pass. So don't worry about it so much. And I did hear something really funny a couple years ago, and for whatever reason, this time of year always makes me think about it because a lot of us worry about our bodies and our health and all of this. And it was a personal trainer, and he said people seem to worry about what they eat between Halloween and New Year's Day. He said it'd be better if they worried about what they ate between New Year's Day and Halloween, meaning we have this whole year ahead of us. And who is going to be the architect of the year? Who's going to carve it out? Who's going to make decisions on a daily basis? What will it add to our lives? It's us. Nobody else. Nobody else runs that show. I mean, you can have a God or a higher power that you ask for guidance and help, but at the end of the day, somebody puts on the running shoes and says, "I'm going for a walk," and somebody says, I'm going to have a good attitude today, and I'm going to get out of bed and brush my teeth and make a list and enjoy my day and live my life. So there you go.
Mm,
Oh,
love
Francis.
that. I love that. And Jeannie here, I'm going to try and cover this up. I know she's going to go. She says, thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. I love you madly, baby. Have a
Love you
wonderful
too.
time at the theater tonight.
Thank you.
And you know what? Send me Deborah Kagan's phone number
Okay,
because
you
I
got
need to
it.
have that
We'll
hot,
do.
sexy woman on the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Great to see you, my love.
Love you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, sweetheart.
Thank you. Bye,
Ciao.
everyone.
Aw, is that not just Wonderful. Once again, you guys, I just, what a gorgeous, fantastic, fantastic woman. I want to show you again Wendy's info of where you can find this beautiful, wonderful woman. All right, just Wendy Joy's World. Look at that. I mean, come on, Joy. At Wendy Hammers, wendyhammers.com, tastywords.com. That's where you can find this beautiful, beautiful woman. I'm just so glad to have her. And as a matter of fact, hold on, let me look at something here. Yeah, 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 yeah. We need to put a little music with that for her. Oh, and before this is where you can find me. Yeah, 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 yeah. And this is where you can find the show, you guys. And please tell your friends. I love that you're all here. Let everybody else know what you're doing on Wednesday nights, but you're here with us. And I'll let you know here. Um, I don't know about that. You know, Wendy's powerful. She's an ever ready battery. She's that bunny. She's her own damn bunny. I loved everything she shared with us tonight. You know, she makes me think about something, several things, many, many things. I say this to friends of mine and to myself whenever I get sick, if an illness happens, cold. As I told you, I went to the ER a couple of times in the last year. Unbelievable. That's never happened to me in my life. But my body was talking to me, and my spirit was talking to me. Disease is DIS hyphen ease. Dis ease. I saw a doctor 2 days ago, and I said, so, I went to the emergency room. I have something called diverticulosis. It was diverticulitis. It's this gastro event that happens in your stomach, and it is painful as very painful. And it never leaves you. It stays with you. It has to do with your large intestines. Anyway, I said, could that be from stress? Because I was very stressful with a job. I didn't realize I was stressful, you guys, because I can manage people. I can manage things. I can do things, but I was stressful. Doctor said, no, it didn't have anything to do with it. And I just went, it had everything to do with it. He says, we can't explain how you get it. Well, maybe try stress. Maybe try where's your mindset at the time. I told you I was listening to Dateline murder mysteries. I couldn't get enough my way to work, my way home. And after that job was over, I haven't listened to it. So there was something in me that was angst. If you're not feeling well, instead of fighting it, I mean, we were going to take medicine or herbs, supplements, whatever it is you may take to feel better, but also look and see what is this moment trying to say to you? Why is it getting your attention? What is it teaching you in this moment? Are you working your ass off and you're running around? You need to really just sit down, and your body has been saying, hey, I need you to sleep more than 3 or 4 hours a night. Hey, I need you to take a nap every once in a while. Hey, I really need you to maybe go and take a run or exercise. Do something so we can so our body can reconstitute itself to a healthy space instead of all this stress. And then bam, you get sick and you're knocked down. Or what else could it be telling you? To change your life in some way? Only you know that. Wendy spoke about that in regards to pancreatic cancer. where 82% of people do not survive. Did you see that woman? Did you see all that hair on her head? Did you see that vibrancy? And she talked about, it wasn't even about not buying into negativity, because when you don't buy into negativity, you think about not buying into negativity to stay positive. She didn't do that. She stayed in joy. She stayed positive. She asked, "What are you teaching me? What is it that you need me to know? Whatever the lesson is, let me get it, and then you can move on." That's just what I say. And I'll tell you, I've gotten over stuff that people are like, "I'm still sick." Well, I'm not. Listen to your body. If you wake up and you're hurting, stretch, work out. Your body needs that. The reason why I laughed is because I spoke to someone. I just met this person, and their body, their body was hurting, and I said, I just offered, because we were chatting about other things. I said, "Oh, why don't you stretch? If you do a couple of blah blah stretches, that could work. That could really be helpful for you." And they said, "But my back hurts, so I can't stretch because my back hurts." And I had to stop talking at that moment, because your back might hurt because you need to stretch. I find that for me, just offering, just offering for you. So pay attention to your body. Listen to your heart. I was working that job and I was so stressed. I didn't realize I was stressed. I was too busy taking care of everybody else but me. If I'd just taken a moment to sit down and listen to how I was feeling, because it was clear I was stressed, I might not have been in the ER 3 days after we wrapped. So listen to you. Love you guys. So glad to have you here with me on Wednesdays on The Vision is Possible. I thank my guest again, Wendy Hammers, for being a fantastic human being and sharing her spirit, her soul, and her heart. You guys have a wonderful, fantastic week. And I'll be right back here with you next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, live. The Vision is Possible. Much love. And I have to say, even though he's not here right now,